Hello, everybody. Story time. I am going to be answering a question with story time. Someone asked me a question and said, "How do you know when to keep holding on? How do you know it's a season? How do you know they say it's a season for different things? But how do you know when this season is a season to leave or a season to stay?" I was like, I remember a story. So I remember something that happened to me years ago. I was in a very bad situation. I'm telling you guys, a very, very bad, situation. And if you're a Christian or you go to church, you've heard this so many times. We were kind of like taught long suffering, meaning if something is not hard, that means it's not for us. We were taught that when something good is about to come, very, very bad things will happen. So you have to hold on. Now, the thing is, when you're in your waiting time, there's a waiting time, meaning waiting for things to happen. Different people have different what you call it, different signs. Mine is that I get uncomfortable, like that place just starts getting too uncomfortable for me. But again, sometimes your waiting time has the same symptoms with your leaving time. So how do you differentiate it? So I don't know that. I just want to tell my own story of what happened to me. So a very long time ago, not too long, I was in a very bad situation. A very bad situation, I must say. It was abuse, it was so many things. It was just crazy, the craziest time in my life. But there was something about this time and this space. I always held on to something, right? Which is what made me know that not every message is for you. So you have to know how to discern. So I was in this workspace that was so bad for me. I'm talking abuse. And let me tell you guys something, like my mom will always say, Sarah knows how to endure. So when I say something, I'm not saying that they'll just tell you, are you okay? And then no, I'm talking like my self-esteem was in zero. My values, I was just going out of my way, was just compromised. I was no longer the same. I saw myself constantly trying to hide myself, to shield myself from who I was. I was constantly trying to downplay my achievement so that I could fit into this box of not being proud, of just being humble and wanting to serve. But there came a time when I was now getting tired. I was like, God, clearly this cannot be your plan for me because what is happening here? Like by the time, even if I make money from this thing, by the time I actually make money and everything, like my self-esteem will be in the mud. I will not be able to speak up again. It went from shyness to crazy, bad, terrible, like I don't know how to even put it. Like I was no more myself. And before this, right, I used to be the life of the party, right? I used to be that sort of like risk taker. I remember the times I used to call my sister and my sister because I just needed someone to speak to me. And my sister would say, Sarah, is you. You can do anything. When you wanted to go to America so bad, even though my parents, like I always find a way. When I wanted to study filmmaking, my parents refused. I went to the UK. I found a way until they accepted. Yes, that's a different story time on how they actually accepted. But from the UK, I went to America. I didn't know anybody. It was a different world. I just got on the flight. I stayed in all these hostel apartments. That's to show you how I didn't know anybody. And somehow I worked my way up. And my sister will always remind me that, Sarah, you're a go-getter. A lot of things that you've gotten is because you want it. Like I'm that sort of person. Like if I want to even like work with someone, I will message them, send like I had like the limit was what's the worst that can happen. They will say no. You know what I mean? So my sister just constantly reminded me that, but I'm no more seeing that. I'm just seeing someone that is shrinking. And I said, no, God is molding me. God is molding me. This is another part of life. It has to get bad before it gets better. I was like, no, this is just my long suffering phase. And my sister will always remind me then that God cannot force you out of a situation. You can only ask him, but he cannot force you, cannot bring you out. You need to give him permission to bring you out, to help you if you cannot come out. So I was there. And at this time, it was getting so hot and I was tired. I knew it was time. I think it was when I clocked 30, 31, 32. I was like, no, Sarah, no. Like, you need to to leave. When I said I needed to leave, I looked at it. I was like, I have built my world around this. Where do I go? Where do I start from? Like, what do I even do? How do like? There were just so many unanswered questions. Not. I thought I trusted God, but I didn't. And I was like, you know what? A lot of people are here. Some people are meant to serve. Some people are meant to be served. Some people are meant to be under people for the rest of their lives. Maybe, just maybe, I am meant to be under people. Maybe I am meant to serve. Just maybe. So let me just accept my fate. So on this particular day, I opened during my regular morning devotion. Very nice. I used to use ODM at that time. And I opened my ODM. And the scripture of that day said, the scripture of that day actually said that it described my situation. And it said that there's a lady that, you're going through it, blah, blah, blah. You want to quit, but hold on, because your breakthrough is near. I took it. I said, God, thank you for speaking to me. This is me. I remember telling someone that, oh my God, I love this ODM. It just looked like it was me they were speaking to. Hold on, your breakthrough is near. I said, anything from today, I'm going to take it. I am just going to endure because I know that my breakthrough is near. That's what I told myself. Now, the person that was also responsible for this situation, now, if you know anything about abusers, manipulators, and all that, there's something they will always do. They will always make you feel like you're their only option, which is what happened to me. They will always make you feel like you're their only option if you go anywhere. And then this person always said one thing, so what you want to do now is to finish suffering and someone else will come and take your space now that things will get better. I said, wow. This is what I read in this ODM, that I should hold on, that this is my breakthrough. Whenever I feel like leaving, this person will come and even make up like stories. Say, oh, I got this deal. The deal will, they'll use things you like. It will make you travel here and here and here and here. I know that you've been through. I know that you've enjoyed. All these things is just to see if you're that sort of person that I can trust. I'm like, yes, I passed the trust test. That's what I used to say to myself then. I'm like, yeah, I passed the trust test. Say, you're right. Long suffering. It will pay. It will pay at the end. It will pay. Then I held on to it and it was getting bad. It wasn't getting any better. Like I said, it only got better when it felt like I had an opportunity. When it felt like there was an open door. This person will, like, you know how maybe you're getting another job and someone will offer you high. Then the person will now remember that, let me give you this thing. Let it settle you. Then when you say no to the other job, they will treat you back the way they used to treat you before. Thank you. So at this time, I remember that day and I went and I said, no, this can't be me. This is too much. I cannot take it. I don't know. At this point, I just realized that I had nothing, like no shame again. So let me just start. Like my self-esteem was in the mud. This Sarah you're looking at today could not sit down here and talk and speak. I'm like, what? So I called my sister one day, my younger sister. God bless her. God bless you, Lucy. And we had a long conversation. And Lucy spoke to me that day. And Lucy was like, she reminded me of who I was. She reminded me of like the Sarah. She said, Sarah, you inspire me. In case you don't know, like, she spoke about the things that I had done, but I didn't take it serious. Like, I thought it was just nothing. She spoke about like how courageous I was. She spoke about how when I went to LA, I didn't know anybody. She spoke about like my time in boarding school, when I went through hard time, even at a time when I almost lost my legs because, oh God, breathe. No, this is not it. So, but she really spoke to me and she said something in that day she spoke to me. She said, Sarah, you have to tell God to help you. The way it is now, you cannot do it on your own. I understand. Like, this is what manipulators do. This is what abusers do. And let me tell you one thing about my sister that I admire. My sister is not afraid to start from the beginning. Never. Like, Lucy had a job that was so crappy. They tried to talk her down. She moved her things. Like, I'm telling you, like, there's a difference between, like, there's a balance. Oh, you yell at someone because the person didn't do anything right. Okay, that's okay. But then you talk the person down to the extent of breaking the person's spirit. My sister is gone out. If it means her to go back to the village, she's going. So I wanted that mindset. She said, Sarah, this is you. Like, she started showing me that the things I did that I did not know, like, it meant nothing, but these are the things that you have done it before and you can do it again. I said, look at me, Lucy. At that time, I'm like, I'm 33. Where do I start from? She said, life begins at 30. Start anywhere. I will help you. I'll help you write your CV. I'll put things, but anything but there. But one word stood out for me where she said, if you cannot do it on your own, tell your God to help you. So I asked God to help me. On that, it was December. I remember it so clear because I went to pray and I was just like, you gotta help me. Like, I need to be here, even if it means the person, like, you hardened the heart of Pharaoh. You released it when you wanted to, right? So do it for me. If you know I don't want to leave, harden this person and make the person even be the one to tell me to leave, or whatever it is. Remove me from here, and if you remove me, I'm not going back. And God removed me. And when he removed me, that was one of the best time in my life. My life took a different turn. I look at myself today. The things I was working for are the things that come to me now. I go for meetings and I pitch, and I look at myself and I'm like, what? You know one thing, I promise myself that no matter how rosy a place looks or feels, if anything is taking away my peace or walking with my self-esteem, that I was not going to be there. Now, about why I'm telling this story, I also had a conversation with a lady. She resigned from a job to another job that wasn't so good. And I asked her, I said, how can you leave this kind of company to join this other company? You know what she said? She said, that she was praying one day and the church service, this morning prayer, and they mentioned her name and said, and they called her name. I'm not going to call her name. Like, I was just going to change another name, like Rose. And they said, Rose, that there's a job you applied for and that is it. So that was God speaking to her. But what she didn't know was that was not for her. My point is, every message, the way I received that ODM message, that wasn't for me. And the way she received that message, that wasn't for her. Not every message is for you. And what I learned from that experience is, there's no such thing as suffering. Like, there's a difference between you're trying to grow something, you're watering it, you're working hard, regardless of all the ups and downs you're facing, regardless, you're monitoring that thing because you know what it's supposed to be. You know that this is where you're meant to be. There's a difference between holding on. Even when things are not smooth, when things don't go the way you want them to go, but you know that you have your eyes on the prize, there's a difference with that and suffering. Nobody said that you must, like, suffer. No. When I came out from that relationship, I always thought that friendship had to be hard, work had to be hard. That's why these Gen Zs now, they're having this mindset of, if I can't make it, if this thing is not working, I'm leaving. We can't understand it because we are so used to long suffering. We believe, and in that space, I'll see people that didn't even go to, I don't even know how to explain it. And when they do, they're like, no, I can't take it. People that normally societal wise, like, they'll be like, no, she can't. Like, I wonder why you should be taking it because I can't take it. And I'm looking at them like, this person knows their worth. You don't have to be put down, rubbed down, and spoken to anyhow and treated anyhow before you know that, oh, your breakthrough is coming there. No. And I like that question because it says that, like, your waiting season can have the same symptoms or the same experience as your leaving, or like when it's time for you to actually leave that space. But let me tell you something. When you know that it's time to leave somewhere, first of all, for you to think about it, there's a reason you are thinking about it. That's a sign. For you to think about every day you wake up. I asked my friend, how did you quit your job? She said, every day I wake up, I am sick. She said, I feel sick. Like when I'm going to work, I feel sick. I was like, She said, I knew that was a sign. There is no such thing as breakthrough. She said, when she left, the company made it. But she realized that even though the company had this big deal that they've been waiting for, that the moment I left, after a few months, they got it, it doesn't mean that that's where I'm meant to be. Because we get it wrong. Sometimes where you break up with someone, the person will now get the biggest deal. You will now say, oh, I wish I stayed. No. No. That's not how it works. If you're even thinking about leaving, then there's a reason you're thinking about it. It doesn't have to be hard. I'm telling you the truth. It doesn't have to be hard. Soft get era or whatever they preach is actually true. Life can be good. Life can be easy. To be honest, life can be easy. Things are not, everything I want is not exactly the way I want it to. But you know why I live a better and a happier life now? Because one, I'm content. Two, I am happy because I know that it's always going to get better. That is my biggest thing. That's the biggest thing that makes me happy. Like it's always going to get better. So if you're already asking that, how do I know that this is my season to live here? You have no business with long suffering. There is no such thing as long suffering. No. We were taught that's except, that's why when you say a lot of men, they'll write stories to their wives on Women's Day. It's about how everything is suffering. How you stayed with me when I didn't have anything, how you held the kids while I go to school, how you, like, all the things they praise their wife is about the long suffering of how the woman suffered. So you'll not be looking at it and be saying, man, if so, that means if I'm not putting all this suffering, if I don't forgive someone, that, like, if I don't do this, if I don't do that, that means I'm not in the right path. I was watching this video and someone commented and said, you played four characters. I was telling the person in the video, said, you played four characters by yourself, still had time to take care of family, still did, listed the things that the person did, and then she said, I'm inspired. I was like, okay, cool. I am not inspired by hard work. No, like, see, it doesn't have to be that hard. In fact, I remember one certain time I had one issue at work after the job I got after that one. It was a multinational company. And we didn't get something right. We were supposed to meet up some episodes because we were filming, and we didn't, like, the episode didn't pass Q&C, and they came, and the management, and they were angry because we didn't meet up. And I just remember calling my mom, and I was telling my mom that, guess what, that we didn't meet up, and they came and they were so angry and they yelled at us. Mommy was like, hey, yeah, so what did I need to do to meet up? I said, no, that's not the point. They said what I said: for the first time in my life in over 10 years, somebody was angry with me and spoke to me, but I still left there with dignity. Like, I didn't know that you could talk to someone without bringing down the person. That is two different conversations. There's a difference between correcting someone. You're angry, it's just like you're talking to your kid and you're still talking to your kid, but though you're talking to your kid, you will not tell them that they are useless. You will not tell them that they cannot make it. You will not tell them that they are nothing without you, but you can still pass your message. So I was like, that is the first time in my life that someone's come out, and I even feel more inspired to do more, and I can see where I was wrong, but at the same time, I didn't feel like useless. You know what I mean? And I also learned from it because, I mean, one of the advantage of coming out, I've spoken about this before, is that I had to really work on myself, because when you stay in bad situations, when you decide to come out, it's not when you're finally free. No, things will follow you. When I came out agitated. I came out like I was losing friends at that time, because anything you tell me, I was high. I just felt like, see, there's nobody in this world, everybody's the same. If this thing can happen, I wasn't patient. I wasn't the kindest at that time. I didn't used to listen. I was just like please, it's like this, it's like this, like I'm not interested. I had to pull back. Like I told you, one day I was talking to someone and my sister said, Sarah, this is not you. This is a bad behavior you learned from XYZ. This is not you. And that was the day I pulled back. And I know that recently I was talking to someone and she had made a mistake, a junior colleague, and she had made a mistake. And I said, I said, why did people make this kind of mistake now? It's not nice. You know that when you say it's not nice, if I correct it. And then she came and told me that it was funny. She came and told me that her other colleague that she was with, that has known me for a very long time, that we've worked with for a very long time, was saying that this year I like you. You came when she has changed. If it's before she fought, she would have really yelled at you and stuff like that. And I liked it because I was like, no. And we started talking. I was like, it didn't happen. I had to. As I worked on myself, at that time, I realized that I was carrying a baggage, and instead of me to heal, which is one thing I wanted to say again, like never be afraid of your past, of who you were. Never be afraid of. A lot of people are scared to come out. A lot of people are scared because they feel like people will use their past against you, that this is you. No, never be afraid of who you were. If someone says, hey, you are like this, yes, that was me. The most important thing is, have you learned, like this person said, that for not just for you to change, for someone to even notice and come and tell you, say, they say that you have changed, or that if it's before you have. I said, yes. I said, I'm happy that you even noticed the change, and that this and this is this, and we spoke about it, and we started talking about it, and I started talking to her about the importance of healing. And it became a whole conversation, like a whole therapy session. I was happy I was able to give back. And she told me how before she couldn't even date because she was just always the angry one. If someone talks to her, she'd be like, what? She was always angry. But now speaking to her, she just realized that she needed to heal from a betrayal. And that's what happened to me at that time. Like, I always feel like, no, this person is like, you're after my job. No, like I used to be very antagonistic, or how do you put it? Like, but I had to work on myself. That's why I tell people, don't stay in bad situations. Don't stay. It doesn't work. Don't stay. It will change you. You will not come out a good person. That's the truth. That is the actual truth. So the earlier you come out and start working on yourself, don't say, let me stay there. I've suffered with this person. Once the person becomes the president of Nigeria, you know why? Because if you suffer with the person and it is the person's destiny to become the president, whether you're there or not, the person will become the president. So, and the person becoming the president doesn't mean you will benefit from it. But because that was my fear then. Like, I need to stick around though. I've worked hard on this. If these deals come and I'm not able to, because it's not for me. Because even if I was still there and it came, I will not be treated rightly. I will not even have the confidence to come out, because my self-esteem and everything is gone. So yeah, that's how you know that it's time to leave. When it's hot, my dear, you have no reason to be there. When it's changing who you are, when you go out and you can look at yourself and say, no, this situation is changing me, not for good. Like, it's not changing, it's not making me a better person. I used to be a nicer person. I told someone this year, I think it was one of my domestic staff, and I told her, I said that I made up my mind that anybody that feels like the job is not okay for them should please leave, because I too, that I have made up my mind that anyone that would turn me to, I stayed with someone for an entire year, she didn't hear me yell, and that was not me. You know why? Because I said, because anybody that I made up my mind that instead of me to be yelling, I'd rather let you go. And you, instead of, so that tomorrow you not see me as like, so when I tell you about something, and you're not changing, that I'll rather go. So it's the same thing. When he said, if something is pushing you in the bad direction, remove it. Yeah. Anyway, yes, that's it. And I hope you liked it. My name is Sarah Donald. I'm happy when I get to be vulnerable with you guys, because it is what it is.